August 25th, 2020, did you visit your friend Gage Grosskreutz in the hospital?
Yes, I did.
And do you remember when you visited him?
I believe the following day after the incident happened that night, I went to see him the next day as soon as I could get a hold of his family and stuff. So yeah.
And when you saw him, did you see him in Milwaukee?
Yes.
And you posed for a picture with him in the hospital in Milwaukee. Is that right? Objection leading.
We've heard that objection.
It's definitely leading.
The suggestiveness is the offensive part of a leading question, and somehow I don't feel, from what we've heard already, that he's going to lead this witness into an answer. So the objection's overruled.
So you're
Bigger's already pissed. Do you see his smirk?
With him at the hospital in Milwaukee.
Yes, we did.
You're allowed some leading questions to sort of set up a fact pattern.
Did you have a Facebook account?
At the time, yes.
And after you took that photograph with Mr. Grosskreutz, did you post that photograph on your Facebook account?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as exhibit number 7 for identification. So Marshall, can you take a look at that? Is that a picture of you and Mr. Grosskreutz?
It is.
Okay, and that's a picture in the hospital that was taken?
Yes.
Okay. And I want you to look to the right of the photograph. There's some, not that familiar with Facebook, but there's an entry that you made with your name and then some writing on it. Is that right?
It appears so, yes.
Okay.
He is breathing right into that microphone. It is amazing.
Well, he's not used to testifying in court, I think.
Well, they got the gain on that thing way high.
We're talking about. Tell me if this is fair. It says, I just talked to Gage Grosskreutz.
Oh, here we go.
2. His only regret was not killing the kid and hesitating to pull the gun before emptying the entire mag.
Ba-na-ba-na-ba-na-bum.
No,
He didn't say that to you.
he never said that to me.
You just posted something about your friend, your roommate, that was a lie?
I did. Given the circumstances and all the threats I've received on the internet, I've never been put in a position like that. Addresses of ours were posted. My mother was getting inboxed. My sister. It was insane with everything going on at the time. I made a bad remark. I was trying to stick up for my friend at the time who, he didn't know any of this was going on. He didn't see the post or anything.
This is the expected answer.
You're saying what he said.
No.
Hold on. This post down here should have killed him right then and there. That's you saying that, right?
That is me saying that, yes.
Okay. This post right here is you equating something that Mr. Grosskreutz said to you.
I lied. He never said that. Those words have never came out of his mouth.
Yeah, I'll rule that one.
Yeah.
You made it all up.
He's allowed to
100% made
confess
it
at
all
some
up.
point.
Nothing else. Thank you.
That's
I
it.
made it all up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even if, if he's saying that
After
in
you
court,
learned that your roommate had been
Does
shot
the
that
jury
night, what
believe
did you
him?
do?
yes.
I actually went to Kenosha trying to figure out if he was alive. My sister was one that notified me. She was watching his live stream, and I had to figure out if my friend was alive. Even at the time, I had no answers. So I drove from Milwaukee to Kenosha to the first hospital. They were transferring him to a secondary hospital, which then he got flight lifted back to Milwaukee. So I basically drove down to Kenosha to drive back to see him in Freighter, but I wasn't able to see him until the following day, at least, 12 hours at least or plus after the incident happened. So
As you came down to Kenosha, you first went to KMH or Freighter South looking for him. Is that right?
yes, it is.
And you got
See,
there
this
a few
has
minutes
nothing to
after
do-
he'd been moved to another hospital.
Oh, wait,
in
no.
Kenosha, is that right?
Never mind.
Yes, I don't know the exact second hospital. It's like St. Mary's or something along those lines, something like that.
And then when you went to that second hospital, you got there a few minutes after the helicopter had flown him all the way back up to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I actually was watching him get loaded into the Flight for Life. I kind of assumed it was him, and still I had no idea if he was going to make it. I didn't know the severity of things.
And so then you drove back up to Milwaukee to Freighter there to try and see
Sure,
whether or
if he's on
not
cross
your
or on
roommate
Leadway.
was alive.
But you lied, right?
Well, yeah, that was the
And you're a
goal.
liar,
But like I said,
lies.
I wasn't able to get a hold of anyone. He was obviously anonymous at the hospital. I was just trying to get answers for his mom and his family to make sure, I wasn't sure if my friend was going to make it or not. So I was just, following him around trying to figure it out. But yeah,
You were worried, you were scared.
I've never been in that position in my life. It was very traumatic watching, my roommate, best friend get shot. And like I said, I thought he was dead from the second of how everything played out. So yeah, I was very scared, very worried about everything.
On top of being worried about his safety, you were also experiencing people putting his name on the internet, correct?
Yes.
And then all sorts of people who supported the defendant were making threats against him and you, correct?
Yes, I actually believe one of the guys I was sending threats was with the defendant that night. His name is like Dustin Collette or something. He was sending pictures of guns to us. That was just
Objection,
a little thing.
hearsay.
Old addresses of ours got leaked out. I was in fear for my family and fear for my friends. Like it was pretty crazy.
So
I mean, that would be
post
present sense impression.
where you're talking about emptying a magazine, was that your
I think-
way of kind of
I don't know,
trying
on the
to
gun.
deter
It's-
everybody
it's-
from
it's
coming
within-
after
it's
you by
within
letting
the whole
them
fear-
know that
his
You
fear.
guys are armed and ready to defend yourselves?
Maybe.
That was 100% it. Gage has never said those words. I was trying to stick up for him more or less. Was looking back, obviously not a good choice of words to say. I put in my emotions of what I wish would have happened. I guess you could say it that way that night. But
What
those
I
words
wish would have
never
happened.
came out of my friend's mouth. When I seen him the next day at the hospital, I cried. I was like, I'm so glad you're alive. kind of let him know like the severity of everything going on social media. It was pretty wild. So
Hey, man, I'm
yeah.
so glad you're alive. Your
Fair
arm
to
is
say
in
that
shambles.
even-
Let me tell you about
Even
Twitter.
after that, in the year, 14 months since then, you and Gage have continued to experience threats, harassment online, things like that.
The second I got subpoenaed out of court on Monday, instantly was already getting hundreds of messages, friend requests from people I have no idea. It still goes on to this day. Like it's insane.
Is your friend Gage the type of person who would take another life?
No, and that's clearly shows of.
Yeah.
The objection is sustained.
Gage is a medic,
He is a medic.
a paramedic, and an EMT.
See, this
Yes.
is well
Fair to
beyond.
say he's dedicated
this-
his life
this
preserving
Cross is
and
beyond the
healing
scope of
other
direct.
people.
Yes, he cares
He
about the
dedicated
wellness
his
and safety
life.
of others.
Nothing further.
I wonder if they can ask him about his criminal charges now.
Because that sounds like character evidence.
They should.
After getting all the harassment and stuff, and instantly seeing that comment screenshot and knowing people are going to try to twist that right away, yeah, I took it down immediately.
And you knew from this post. Can you bring up the post again?
I don't think they
You
will,
knew
but
from the
man, it'd be
post.
funny if they did.
Because the picture on the bottom shows Mr. Grosskreutz with a firearm, right? You see that?
I do.
Okay. So you, out of anger or frustration, you knew that if you said that if his only regret was not killing the kid, you knew that would hurt him, right?
I did not at the time. Like I said, I was trying to stick up for my friend. It was a very hectic thing. I've never dealt with that situation like that. It was
So your
bad
method-
word, bad judgment.
So your method of sticking up for your friend, who you know is possessing a firearm, is to lie about something he said.
And like I said, bad.
Overruled. Yeah.
That's a proper
Like I
question.
said, it's going to be bad. It was a bad judgment, bad call on my part of even wording something like that, and it was out of pure anger. That's really all I have.
Move 70. I have no other questions.
Any objection?
I have no objection to the exhibit, and I have no further questions.
You may step down, sir. Received.